Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with Invest for More. I'm back at my laundromat and we're going to count quarters, see if maybe we set another record today. And I'm also trying to figure out if I want to make some big changes here because I have the opportunity to buy some new to me used machines at a pretty good price. And I feel like I could really increase the revenue, but it will be quite the project and expansion to do that. So if I were to get new machines, I might have that entire row of Horizons removed. But if I am able to put some 80 pounders, maybe a 60, a 40, that will stick out about a foot farther than it sticks out right now. So I'm trying to figure out if that'd look weird, if that'd be okay. My kind of edges aren't exactly perfect anyway. And we'll show you how much money we collect out of those machines too. It's just not nearly as much as we get out of the bigger machines. Those machines are always breaking. I can take some of them to my other small laundromat. So there's a lot of different reasons why I might be making these changes. But there's also some huge obstacles in making those changes as well. So I was looking at doing an 80-80, 60-40, or an 80-80, 40-40. So I'd save 4 inches by having a 40 instead of a 60, which isn't that much. And I feel like the 60s just, people love the big machines. I know some people say, well, you need to keep small machines for people who do single loads. That's true. But when you see the quarters and how much money's in them, you'll see that we probably have way too many single machines and not enough big machines because, I mean, we have 15 small machines right there, and they just aren't used as much as the big ones. So the trick is, I might be able to get some 80 pounders. They won't fit in my door, so I might have to take down the window and glass to get them in here. We're also going to try and fix that 50 pounder with the sign on it as well. And I thought about putting, more machines up front. But if I make them any bigger and wider here, then they kind of get in the way of the entrance and it gets more tight there. So I'll probably just leave these as they are. And the more you move stuff around, the more you change bases, the more you move different things, the more expensive it gets. Plus, these big washers have to be bolted into the concrete, and I feel like if you're changing bases, taking them in and out, you're just making the concrete less secure every time you do that, and you risk really messing things up if you move them too much. So if they're secure, if they're in there good, I kind of want to leave them like that, and we'll see if we can add them in that other spot. Now, I also might get some more dryers, so I have the opportunity to get some bigger dryers. These are 30-pound stackable dryers. I have the opportunity to get possibly some 45-pounders. Now, some people said, well, you could add another dryer in there if you take out your door, make an exterior door here, and I thought about that. The problem is that's cinder block with bricks on the outside, and right where I would put my door is the electrical panel. And my cleaners use this for all their cleaning supplies, so then have to go outside to get supplies. I just don't think it would be a good situation. And some people also said, well, you can take your office out and just put more dryers back there. So I'd love to have more dryers. That's one of our big roadblocks. But not only do I keep money and important stuff back there, I've got my soap machine, which is built into the wall there, my change machine, which is built into the wall there, and maybe you could put the soap machine there, but you have to completely rebuild the wall. Maybe you could move the change machine somewhere. But again, just the more you do that, the more expensive it gets, the more problems you can run into. And I mean, maybe the change machine could go right there, except there's a wall there, and electric and all kinds of different issues right there too. So really, there's no ideal spot. I like having my office. It'd be nice to add some machines in here, but I just don't think it makes sense based on everything we've got going. All right, now we're gonna check quarters and see what we've got. I already filled this up yesterday with quarters, so don't be surprised if it's mostly full, because it was getting really low yesterday. So usually I fill up quarters 3 times a week, and I only had done it on Monday, from Friday to Monday, and so I came here on Thursday and it was really low, so that's a really good sign. And we took in, I think it was 982 over the weekend, and this might be the most we've ever taken in during the week. So that's really cool to see and encouraging. I ended up counting all of that up, and it was 853, I think, and our total was like 1845, which is the most we've taken in cash-wise for a week since I started keeping track. The vending machine has lots of stuff gone, and my big hunks are continuing to just have massive problems. That one's like stuck in the windy thing. But yeah, people like them. They are buying them, but they like to melt and not keep their form. That's for sure. So our gum is gone. Goldfish are gone. Kit Kat's gone. People are eating our fruit snacks. So a lot of the new stuff we put in there is doing well. And we'll count that up here in just a second. Didn't see any gold coins this time. The last few times I've emptied that out, there's been gold dollar coins in there, which is kind of cool to see, but none this time. Checking the soap machine, and there's quite a bit gone. I don't think there'll be any record. Nothing's jammed over there. If I fill up those tides too tall, I feel like they jam and don't work right, so we'll fill that back up. And we'll see how much money is in here now, and we'll count that up too. And of course, the pop machine is still not working. We took it apart, cleaned it. I do have like some kind of cleaner someone suggested I buy here on YouTube. I forgot what it was called. I ordered some, it's not here yet, so we'll try that too, but the pop machine still is not working. It just won't read quarters. It will just spit them back out. Sometimes it accepts them, just, it's weird. All right, so here is the soap machine money. Of course, we'll check the quarters, and the washers and dryers here soon. That's the most fun. And then I didn't quite have my bucket in the right spot, so it spewed quarters all over. I picked up most of them, I promise. So 150 in quarters, and I put my little scoop there because the vending machine, the snack machine, often has nickels and dimes, and so this change counter will spit those back out. It sure seemed like there should be a lot more gone from the vending machine. That might not be as much as normal. Quite a bit there, though. All right, let's check the washers and see how we're doing. There should be quite a bit in here. That's pretty good. That's pretty heavy. That's quite a bit. That's one of our 50-pound washers in back. One of our bigger ones. This was the biggest machine that was in this laundromat when I first bought it. Or took it over. I didn't really buy this laundromat. I got really lucky. And I'm also curious how long coin boxes last. I bought all brand new coin boxes for a number of reasons. One, I didn't quite have enough. I didn't have keys to the ones that were in here. And then, you know, they're all kind of keyed different. You can get them keyed the same, but you can't just go buy a key and it will fit in coin boxes. So for security reasons, you kind of want to get new coin boxes with new keys. But I'm hoping they last longer than like a year because I have a few now that are getting a little tough to open. But these are great. So these are 27, 30-pound speed queens. So they're kind of a step up from your normal front load washer. People definitely use them a lot more than the Horizons, which are kind of like a 20-pound double load is what they would call them, washer. And yeah, these are doing well. So I have 6 of these, and they get used a lot. This is where I had my drain back up. If you saw my video earlier in the week talking about adding new machines, I had a flood. Also had a flood today. We'll show that at the end. But I had a flood here over the weekend. Had to clean up because this drain is a giant trough behind these machines, and it gets clogged up sometimes. I just cleaned it too, but sometimes weird stuff gets in there. The first time it flooded, the dog pillow had gone through a washer and exploded. But it backs up and then just spills everywhere. So it's not the best trough. I don't know. Maybe there's a better drain we could put in there or something. I'm not sure. But here you can see how much is in the Horizons. And the Horizons just like such a happy. It's not much at all. Happy, forward-looking name, but it does not match these machines. That one's better. Everybody I talk to, every laundromat person, every repair person, they're just like, these Horizons aren't very good. They're always breaking. They're always causing issues. There's a reason you can buy them so cheap. I mean, you can buy these used for like $700 all day long, whereas like a 30-pounder that I just, read across right there, is going to be like $3,000 to $4,000 used. If you can find them, maybe you can find a better deal on that. If you find someone local who's liquidating or something. But you can find the Horizons all the time. So it's really, you get what you pay for. Learn a lot in this business. Like, don't buy those. And people told me that too when I started. Like, don't buy Horizons. I'm like, why? What could possibly go wrong? Well, a lot. These are hips, which are actually way better. Although you can see we have one out of order. I think it's a motherboard. These get used more than the Horizons usually, even though they're exactly the same size, but they look prettier, and they tend to have a lot less problems. Still, not a ton in those this week either. So these get used, but it's not like people are just keeping these full all the time. There's money in them. They do fine. But the big machines are really where it's at as far as collecting a lot of quarters. And that's what's fun for me, is collecting a lot of quarters. And the doors break on Horizons a lot. Like that door, if you lean on it, it can break. And that door's not quite broken, but it's breaking. And so it leans a little bit. That's why the door latch got broken before, because someone probably tried to slam it. So if you are gentle and lift up a little bit, it's fine. But if not, then you could break it again. And then we will see what our big machines up front have. So these are the ones I empty twice a week. So I've already emptied this once this week. That's the second time. And that's a really nice full box right there. That was definitely better than last week. I'm feeling pretty good about this. I don't know if it's quite going to be a record, but it might be close. It should be. Anything in there? Oh, there you go. There's a guy there trying to do laundry, and I was completely in his way, so that's what was going on right there. Trying to get around him without filming him. I try not to film customers too much. Once in a while, you know, get it. That one's really full too. So again, all of those were emptied twice, and like I said, the middle 50, which is out of order, is one of our best machines. People love it, and we've checked the drains, we've cleared all the drain lines. That hasn't fixed it. So I might try and change out the pump, or the drain, I'm not even sure what it's called, with a different one today, and see if that fixes it, because we really want to get that machine working. Alright, so here is the count for just the front washers to see how much they have produced. Over 2,000. That's really, really good. That might be the most, or real close to the most we've had in those front machines. And then here's all the rest, the back machines, the Horizons, the Hips, the 30s, the 50, to see how much we've got. I'd love to see 6,000 quarters. That'd be awesome. How much is 6,000 quarters? $1,500. Okay. Definitely gonna have 5, that's for sure. Let's see how much more than 5 we've got. We're not gonna hit 6, but that's okay. Still, 55, I don't think that's a record, but that's one of our best. Alright, here's our dryers. This one has no heat. And like I said, I've got a couple that aren't working. Sometimes people still use it though. You know, this whole front stack is not working. So if I can replace it and like 3 or 4 others with bigger 45-pound dryers, I can charge a lot more. People can do more laundry, and I feel like more people will use the laundromat, because I was talking to some regulars and they said, well, if we have huge comforters or huge awkward loads of some kind, you know, your 60-pound washer is great. It can handle it. But your dryers can't. Your dryers are too small. So they go to other laundromats if they have huge comforters or other things that need washed, because my dryers are too small. So if I can get some bigger dryers, not only would it increase probably the price I could get for the square footage I'm using, because even though I might have one less stackable machine, I'd have more total cubic feet and be able to charge more, and they'd be working too. So I'm really not losing anything if I trade 5, you know, small ones for 4 big ones. If one of my small ones now aren't working, I'm not losing anything. But I think that could really help. And then I also told one of our regulars, hey, I'm thinking about getting some bigger washers, some 80-pounders, and they were so happy. They're like giddy with excitement. So I do know some of our regulars who use our laundromat a lot, and they love it, but they do go to other laundromats sometimes, because the other laundromats have big 80s, big dryers, and I just don't have those. So if I did have those, you know, we might really be able to push revenue up. So we're trying to figure out how to make it all work, and how to get some of these machines here. But I think if we did, I know some people are like, is it worth the investment? Is it worth spending the money? It's like, well, first, I think I'm getting a pretty good deal. I'll talk about all that later. And yes, it costs some money. It takes some time. I've got to pay, my guys to install them and pick them up and all that stuff. But, I mean, if you look at the Horizons, the money they have versus our big machines now, I mean, we might be able to increase revenue by $500 a week from big machines, big washers, maybe a couple hundred more a week from big dryers, and that's a few $1,000s a month extra. And you might have a few more utilities, a few more usage, but really not that much more cost. So you would probably pay for your machines, in a year, maybe less. And something else to think about too is when you get new machines, it's not just about how long it takes to pay them off or get your money back. But if I ever decide to sell the laundromat, I don't plan to, but if I do, the more revenue it brings in, the more it's worth. So if you're able to increase revenue $20,000 a year, you probably increase the value of the business by $60,000. So that's something to consider too, where if we can increase revenue that much, and your machines are costing a lot less than that, then you are definitely probably making a pretty good decision about whether to do it or not. All right, here is the dryer money, and getting to 2,000 would be awesome. 1,600 kind of was our old goal, and we'll show you the sales chart here at the end. Now I'd really love to see 2,000. So things are looking up. I think things are getting better. We are kind of plateauing there for a while, but now I see the chart going up a little better, and that's nice to see. I do watch other laundromat TikTok and YouTube videos once in a while. I also have more videos and content on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram, so you guys can check those out. But they keep saying they get busier in winter, so we'll see what happens. All right, here is that front machine that we cannot get working. So here's your drain. It goes into this like pump thing, or I don't know what you would call it, but it basically stops the water from draining when it doesn't want to, and then releases it when it wants to. So our machine keeps stopping like 16 minutes because it won't drain. So it's like, well, is the drain clogged, or is this thing broken? So what I did is I took the pump out of that one, which we know works, and put it in this other one to see if that fixes it. So I checked to see what time it is. There's 23 minutes left on that machine. We'll let it run for a while. We'll come back, see what happens, and see if we fixed it. So I came back, 16 minutes, and like 10 or 11 minutes had passed, so it's stuck on 16 still. So I don't know what is going on. I could not get it to stop. I turned the power off. It usually releases and drains after a while. It just wouldn't drain at all. I actually ended up having just to take that pump off and dumping water everywhere, and water was coming out from the back, which makes you think it might be clogged, but my guy says he snaked everything, so we'll check it again and see. But if anybody has any ideas, let me know. I'm always open to suggestions. All right, here is our sales chart from December 1st when I first opened. I took this over in September of 23, so I took it over over a year ago. Fixed up a bunch of machines, added some more machines from a defunct laundromat, got a smoking deal buying a bunch of Horizons, which I know weren't quite as good of a deal, but I also got a 60-pounder, a couple 50-pounders, 40-pounder, and a bunch of dryers for $20,000, which was a pretty good deal. Let's see what our charts do in this next deal. We'll see if it's, I don't know if it's quite that good, or maybe, I don't know. We'll talk about the numbers once it's all complete and done. But the machines are expensive. If I were to buy brand new machines, like if I bought a brand new 80-pound washer, it'd probably be like $15,000. They're crazy expensive. That was our record right there. We had a little down week afterwards. Last week was decent, like 1890. This week, 1958. So we didn't have the pop machine. If we would have had a good week with the pop machine, we might have been over 2,000, which would be our second best week. Really cool to see. And the bonus on top of that is I collected money early in the morning this time. I collected different times. I think last week I collected later in the afternoon. So it's actually a shorter week. So had I collected later in the afternoon, we might have broken our record anyway. So that was pretty cool to see. The trend is finally going up a little bit. Hopefully it continues to go up. You can see we collected more cash than we ever have since I started keeping track, which hasn't been that long. But there was a lot of cash in the machine. I also took quarters back with me this time because we usually collect less cash than quarters that come in. As you can see, people bring more quarters in than they take out. So every couple of months, I get too many quarters. I take them to the bank. So I brought a couple bags of quarters with me. We'll take those to the bank, see how much we have, and maybe I'll add a notation somewhere on this chart or something, just talking about how many quarters we took back from this laundromat as well. Although I have no idea the time frame for that. But if I'm starting now, that's fine. Yeah. All right. So lots of decisions to make. We're still trying to figure out how we can get these machines in, how they'll fit. Hopefully they come with bases, but it's always, a little concerning drilling into concrete and making sure it holds and doesn't have any issues. The laundromat's been pretty clean. In a perfect world, at some point, I'd honestly really like to just take our whole floor out, the top layer, and just have concrete. It would look so much better and not show as much dirt. Not sure if when we do a bunch of machines, if that's the right time to do that or not, because we might be down for a little bit. Well, we probably can stay open, honestly, for the most part. We'll see. But there's a lot to think about, a lot to consider. I do love this part of a business and business in general of like, if I make this investment, what will my return be? How can we improve things? How can we make sales go up? That's always been fun to me, and it's cool to see this chart and see it do well. I have not been to the small laundromat in Kersey yet. I'm going there soon. My son has a cross-country meet in that same town this afternoon. So I'm going to go do some coin collection videos, watch him do that, and we'll see how the little laundromat's doing. As you know, I've been talking about selling it. Well, I might be able to get some better dryers in this deal too that I could put in that laundromat. I could put some better machines in there, and I still might sell it, but I'm thinking to myself, if it's got better machines, if it's got things working better, it's a lot easier to sell than if you got a bunch of out of order signs. So there's multiple reasons to do that. I haven't put it up for sale yet. I did tell one person about it, who I know is kind of looking for one, but not sure if there was any interest there. So we'll have more information tomorrow on that and see how that does. Of course, we'll have more on this one as things progress, and we'll show videos of what we decide to do. And of course, if it helps the sales, hopefully it doesn't hurt them. That would be awful, but I don't think that would happen. All right, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think, and we'll be back soon.